Former President Donald J. Trump is absolutely dominating this presidential election, according to Polymarkets, where people are betting on who will become president of the United States of America. As you can see here, Donald Trump is 65 and Kamala Harris is roughly 34. Now, according to Americans putting down their money, they believe in a big majority that Donald J. Trump will become the 47th president of the United States. Also, another big Trump drag him through the mud story has been rejected and proven false. I'll go through all of the details. And Kamala Harris, cackling Kamala, embarrasses herself on the world stage at CNN. Maybe this is why President Joe Biden has just called for President Trump to be locked up a second time. We're like a dozen days from the biggest election of our lifetime, and the sitting president of the United States says we must lock Donald J. Trump up because he might actually get in and keep his promises. Well, what promises are you worried about? An investigation into your life? Into Kamala's life, into the Russia collusion. What is it? So President Biden has called on him to be arrested again. Now, in response, Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, stated, Biden is admitting the truth. He and Kamala have spent all of their time persecuting their political opponent because they can't beat him fair and square. This isn't real democracy. This is a disgrace to Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris is refusing to call him out on it. Now, according to Axios, Alex Thompson, this didn't make Harris supporters very happy. During a private conversation, Thomas stated that a former Biden official claimed Biden should be the one that's locked up for embarrassing Kamala Harris. While the name of this person hasn't been released, they admitted that Biden is standing in the way of Kamala Harris rebranding herself as America's change agent. I agree with this, but at the same time, she's not doing a lot to change that on her own. Now, as Biden continues to fumble through his remarks, it got me thinking about something President Obama said last Saturday. Obama declared, when Donald Trump repeatedly lies or cheats or shows utter disregard for our Constitution or just insults people, folks make excuse for it. Everything a president says is serious. Well, Obama, the sitting president of the United States, is calling for his political enemy to be locked up, jailed, incarcerated. Call it what you want. Shouldn't we take that seriously? Of course not, because liberal privilege, right? Joe Biden can say whatever he wants, but if Donald Trump says something, he's very bad. By the way, thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos because it really helps me. So thank you guys so much. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris has just butchered her town hall with CNN, something anticipated for over a month. Her answers to people's questions were bad, so bad, that the liberal media referred to it as terrible, horrible, word salad. Obama official David Axelrod said, it's like she doesn't know how to talk to people or answer questions. She becomes a word salad. Now, if you're a Democrat and haven't watched it, go watch it. Your leader, your front runner is an embarrassment. And if you're a Republican, just go watch it and laugh or I don't know, maybe cringe. I was cringing. Now, when I watched her speak, it was abundantly clear that it was not scripted because she rambled, she laughed, she couldn't answer questions. She went back to these old stories of being middle class or a prosecutor, the only one on the stage with any experience. Hello, Donald Trump has 4 years of being president, which is longer than you. So, for instance, when Kamala was asked to name a failure she made, she couldn't. She couldn't think of a single failure when asked for a policy difference between her And Joe Biden, she couldn't. She couldn't think of a single thing that was different. Now, when asked about her past criticism of Donald Trump's border wall, she couldn't even explain why a border wall or protecting the southern border was important. Now, thankfully, town hall host Anderson Cooper pointed out that she claimed to support bipartisan legislation which would finish the border wall. After this point was brought up, Harris admitted to it, but then bashed Donald Trump for not building the wall quicker. So after all this time, she finally admits that having a wall wasn't the problem. She and the Democrats were the problem. So building Trump's wall was bad, but not completing it faster was worse. I mean, they look for any excuse to blame Donald Trump that they can come up with. Kamala, could you just pick a lane? Just pick a lane and stay in that lane. It's like watching a drunk driver as she tries to use her words to explain herself. Now, as top Republicans voices urge their viewers to vote early, new data coming out of Texas suggests that Democrats are in the lead. According to The Hill, much of early voting in Texas is leaning Democrat. While Joshua Blank from the Texas Politics Project admitted early voting is going to Democrats, he said, Republicans in this state typically show up on voting day, and this should flip back red, but it is remaining competitive. So Texas is still expected to go red, although in a few years, with millions of new illegal immigrants settling and California residents settling in Texas, it could turn purple or blue in the future. So come on, Texas, stay red. Now, according to Blank, Republicans currently have the advantage because their problem is easier to overcome. However, we can't get overconfident, even though in many other battleground states, early voting is leaning towards Donald Trump. He only wins if you get out and vote. So make sure that you are ready to do that. Now, the media company, The Atlantic, has just embarrassed themselves again, falsely claiming that President Trump withdrew his offer to pay for a military girl's funeral. This is murdered Texas soldier Vanessa Gillan. Now, according to The Atlantic, back in 2020, Trump reportedly told his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, it doesn't cost $60,000 to bury an effing Mexican. Now, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows denied this story, said it's completely fabricated. Now, remember, The Atlantic, I pointed out over the last couple of days, they're the ones running these stories that Donald Trump liked Hitler, wants to be like Hitler, wants generals like Hitler, that he wants to turn the U.S. Army on the American people. All lies, lies, lies. Here's another one, but this gets proven false very, very quickly. Now, the sister of Vanessa Gillan, Myra Gillan, released a statement. Wow, I don't appreciate how you are exploiting my sister's death for politics. Hurtful and disrespectful to the important changes she made for service members. President Donald Trump did nothing but show respect to my family and Vanessa. In fact, I voted for President Trump today. Now, Trump actually met with the family in the Oval Office. He was nothing but kind for them. Every member of the family has said how gracious and empathetic and kind he was. The mainstream media is doing coordinated hit pieces as we go into the final stretch with Donald J. Trump about to become president of the United States. All right, now today's sponsor. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are concerned that your privacy is being attacked by the radical left? Just think of the Twitter files. The deep state, including the DOJ, is invading individual private messages and targeting them based off their political affiliation. That's why I've partnered with Freedom Chat, a private social messaging app that, like me, believes privacy is a fundamental human right. Now, I already mentioned this app once before, and many of you went and signed up. I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's great. Freedom Chat offers true end-to-end encryption, built-in screenshot protection to ensure that no one can screenshot your conversations, no storage of messages on their server, and no commercial use of their private data. Now, this is the app that I trust. It's the app that my family and I use as we get closer to the election to share big stories. Now, some people will stop at nothing to maintain power, making privacy protection more important than ever. Download the app right now by going to freedomchat.com/Gardner. I'm such a fan of Freedom Chat. I've even created my own private channel at Stephen Gardner. You can subscribe and I'll share private content over there. Simply download the app. Again, that's at Stephen Gardner, and you can go subscribe. No one can see the channel that you are subscribed to or the posts or how you react. Again, go to freedomchat.com/Gardner. It's really, really incredible. All right, now that the details of the coming Israeli retaliation strike on Iran have leaked from the Pentagon, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken traveled to Israel in an attempt to convince Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to lessen or end the planned attack on Iran. However, this likely won't happen as Netanyahu has confirmed Iran just admitted to an assassination attempt on him and his wife using a drone. After the close call, Netanyahu stated Iran's proxies, who today attempted to assassinate me and my wife, made a grave mistake. This will not deter me or the state of Israel from continuing the war of resurgence against our enemies to secure our safety for generations to come. Now, shockingly, the Hezbollah-sent drone reached Netanyahu's residence, even bumping into his bedroom window. Thankfully, he and his wife were not home and the attack was unsuccessful, but it just goes to show this war is not cooling down. In fact, it's beginning to ramp up. So pretty crazy stuff, right? Polymarket shows Donald Trump in the lead big time. New data shows that he is leading in almost all swing states. Texas is going to catch up. Of course, he's going to capture all of the red states like Utah, Idaho, others that are very consistent for Donald Trump. Biden calls for him to be arrested. Kamala is just an absolute mess. Every time she does a podcast or something, she's a mess. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think Donald Trump is going to win? Again, he only wins if we get out there and make him the winner. We want to make America safe again, healthy again, great again. I love you guys. Stay amazing. Hit this video with a like button. Subscribe. We're almost to 1.8 million subscribers. Election night, I'm going to be doing a long form live with many guests. I hope that you will join me as we ring in the night with a new president. Hey, I love you guys. Stay